Master your professor. What do I mean by that? Study what they do. Listen to their vocal mannerisms in class. Don't listen to their study advice, but listen to how they discuss something. So some people will say, oh, if like, I'll just be frank. A lot of my friends are law professors, and some of them have gone over my materials and they're like, yeah, this is good advice, but they should totally read cases and they should do these things. So I've written an article that kind of got me banned from Above the Law ultimately, called Rainbow Vomit. I've posted it on my own blog. The problem is that, you know, your law professors are not Gordon Ramsay. They're not judges of food and expert cookers of food, in the sense that they may give advice, but law school exams are graded blind. Professors think they have an idea of what causes people to do successful or not. They like to think it's people who reread the cases and only listen to what they say. But it's not quite that. They actually don't have a basis for knowing. They don't analyze the data. So they don't necessarily know why certain students are successful and why they don't. They are judges. So in the sense, if Gordon Ramsay doesn't like something, well, Gordon Ramsay, but like I'm talking like some of the other cooking shows where you have non-chefs judging food, or a restaurant critic, they're experts in what they like. So you have to cater to that. They are not experts in knowing how to cook that thing that they like. Otherwise, they would be the chefs. So how do you do that with your professor? And how do the other two bits help? You focus really closely on language and their preferences and the kind of hypotheticals that they make up in class. So I'm going to give you a super specific example. My crim law professor at NYU Law was this guy named David Richards, and he loved to discuss this concept of the intoxication defense. And there was a legal standard. There was a standard for how drunk you have to be to get by on an intoxication defense. It's basically something akin to the defense for insanity, which is like you have to be so drunk that you're unable to appreciate at all what you are doing. And the example he always gave was, he was a student. When he was a student, he visited the Soviet Union, and he was in Leningrad, and at some point he drank an entire bottle of vodka and found himself crawling on his hands and knees across the Nevsky Prospect. Why do I say that? He wanted us to use his language. He didn't want us to use stilted legal language like the intoxication, like intoxication sufficient to negate specific intent. He wanted us just to say, you know, X was Leningrad drunk because he couldn't remember where he was. It's not just being buzzed by a couple of beers, it's Leningrad drunk. But that became a technical term in his class. If you tried to sound legalistic, or like you were speaking legalese and you said, and you used that mouthful of words, intoxication, he can invoke the intoxication defense. He just wanted you to write the words Zeus. He loved classical characters in his exams. Zeus was LD, and that was enough. So you have to speak the professor's language. Now, you can't do that for another law professor who doesn't use that language, but every law professor has their own rhythms and the ideas they like, certain types of arguments that they like. You have to listen for those things.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.